Charlie Bird, State Representative for Woodstock and Town Lake, has served us well. She tirelessly fights for all Georgians by writing and supporting bills which reduce the size of government, wasteful spending, and encourage personal responsibility. During the last session, she helped pass a bill that requires welfare recipients to be drug tested. Her opponent has been unable to find any legitimate reason to oppose her. He has chosen to focus on untruths and half-truths about her in an effort to mislead citizens. Every vote that Charlize makes is in keeping with her Christian values and her Reagan conservatism. Now he wants you to believe that her actions at the state capitol are somehow misleading and even fraudulent. Don't fall for it. Her opponent is attempting to discredit her over something that he knows very little about because he has not been on the floor as a legislator and he does not understand the process. Listen to what other state legislators have to say about what really does go on down at the state capitol. Perhaps their comments will help you to understand how voting and bill passage take place and why principled legislators such as Charlize sometimes change their votes because of their passion to do the right thing for Georgia and its citizens.
You know, I believe that changing your vote is a matter of conscience. It's very easy to not get information that you need on a vote until the very last second. Quite often it's actually being withheld by the opponents. And sometimes you don't receive that information, vital information perhaps, on making a vote change until after the vote's made. And then sometimes you might hear the opponents of the bill say, boy, they wouldn't have voted that way if they had known this. And learning that little bit of information is something that a person like me would say, gee, I believe I need to change my vote. I realize it doesn't change the outcome of the vote, but it reflects, for the record, my personal commitment, my beliefs. And I believe that's a very important thing to do for somebody that has a good belief structure.
A legislator might have to change their vote for one actually very important reason. It has to do with information flow. You don't always get all the information about a particular bill when you hear it in committee, or it may come through a committee that you're not even on. And you may not also get all the information when the bill is presented by the author on the floor or when members ask questions about the bill.
You know, a good example of a time you might want to change your vote would be last year. We had a vote for drug testing of welfare recipients. And I was aware at that time that it was a very expensive proposition. The state of Florida had passed a similar law, and they were only getting 1 or 2% of people that were testing positive for drugs, yet it was costing them millions and millions of dollars for actually very poor results. And when I thought about that, I thought I would vote no against this bill because while it's a feel-good bill and it would sound good, it actually was going to cost the state millions of dollars for no results or very little results. But at the very last moment, I found out a hidden fact, and that was that about 45% of the welfare recipients in Florida did not even bother to apply once they found out about this law. So of course they had a very low positive reaction because people didn't even bother to apply for welfare. So it did make a huge difference. But the opposition didn't let us know about that information until at the very last second. I happened to overhear a conversation, checked it out, and was able to correct it before I voted. Some other people may not have learned about that, for example, until after their vote, and had they learned that information, they might have gone down and changed their vote because it would have changed the way they felt about the bill.
So if information comes to light that makes you feel the need to have to change your vote, then we have a mechanism in the House, in the rules of the House of Representatives where we can do that. Principled legislators who make decisions based on core principles, if there's information that becomes available after the vote's taken that makes it a matter of principle for you, then I believe that you have a moral obligation to go and change your vote.
You know, unfortunately, down at the State House, there's a lot of people that really don't know or understand the rules, and that's the rules of behavior and ethics and decorum on the floor. And one of those rules has to do with changing your vote. And I would dare say that probably more than 50% of the legislators don't even know that you can go down and change your vote to match your real beliefs after the general vote is taken.
Fraud is a very bad way to characterize changing a vote. Fraud is intentionally trying to misrepresent or deceive somebody. And if there's information that you don't have, then there's no way you can possibly intentionally misrepresent anything or deceive anybody.
Michael Caldwell thinks he can walk in and replicate what it has taken Charlie Spurd years to develop. Don't give up your voice, Woodstock. It is critically important that we get this election right. We need Charlie Spurd and a proven conservative voting record. Please vote for Charlie Spurd on July 30th.